Alright, John Oakes here with HANKSTERS Hot Rods here in our Homer City, PA location. And today we've got our newest addition to our inventory, this being a Hugger Orange 1969 Chevrolet Camaro SS style car. So as we do all the time is we're going to go ahead, we have it up on the rack here. We're going to go ahead through the underside of this car, show you exactly what it is that we're all looking at here, and then we'll get it down off the lift and do our outside video there as well. So obviously here at the back of the car, we've got our stock fuel tank. This is a steel fuel tank. All the mounting hardware, the straps, all the bolts, everything that holds it in place, that's all in great condition on this car. From what I can see from down here of the trunk floor pan is in excellent shape. There's no patches or anything wrong with that. It's a nice solid one-piece trunk pan there that we can see. Now on the back of this car, exhaust system wise, we've got tailpipes, so it's a complete dual exhaust ending up with the tailpipes here exiting right between your leaf springs and the quarter panel as it should. Looks to be probably like a maybe 2.5 inch exhaust system there. And then as far as our running gear here across the back, I'll just walk you through everything here. So out at the ends here, as far as the rubber on the car, as far as tires, we've got all BF Goodrich radial TA tires. The back ones are 255/60 R15s. You can see the tread on the tires is very good here on the back side. Those are mounted on a set of 15-inch Centerline Racing polished aluminum 5-spoke wheels, and again, those are in nice shape. We'll see those once we get to the outside of the car here. Inside of those wheels are a braking system for the back, and those are disc brakes. So this car has 4-wheel disc brakes, all of the rotors of which are all solid vane rotors. But again, it's all good GM stuff there, so again, you can buy parts for these anywhere. We've got newer multi-leaf rear suspension on the car with new shocks, both front and rear. We have a GM 10-bolt rear. Now, allow me to kind of expand on this as I go through it. It's a 10-bolt GM rear. It's the small 10-bolt, so the 8.2-inch ring gear. However, all the components inside this center section, as well as the axles, are real heavy-duty stuff here. So what we have here is we've got Richmond ring and pinion inside the rear end. We've got Richmond 355 gears. We've got a Richmond spool in here also. So it is a posi unit. And then as far as the axles go, we've got heavy-duty 28 spline strange racing axles inside of this housing. So again, all of the stuff inside, heavy-duty stuff, it'll take a lot of load there too, and a lot of horsepower through that rear end center section. And again, like I said, as far as the rest of the rear suspension goes, I'm not sure how well you can see this, but underneath your leaves here, you do have a set of traction bars. Now these are those adjust-a-link or slide-a-link traction control bars. They're adjustable, so you can set them however you want them, so that whenever you get the horsepower going to the rear wheels, you don't get a whole lot of wheel wrap going there, or axle wrap they call it. So anyways, that's pretty much the whole rear of the car here. All right, here we are now underneath the center of our 69 Camaro SS style car here. So now we can take a look at, like I said, the floors and more of the exhaust and the transmission. So floors are in very good shape, good solid floors here on the car. Looks like they have maybe replaced the rear pans in the car, but again, all original GM sheet metal here. It's all stamped components. So again, they've used the right stuff and done it correctly back here. As far as the drive line goes, again, got the drive shaft here painted black just to kind of match up with the underside. Now as far as the underside goes, the whole entire underside, looks like it may have just a real light dusting of undercoating on it. Otherwise, it looks to be just kind of flat black painted down here. So again, you can see, if there were any imperfections, you could see that. Frame rails, good and solid frame rails. They even have welded in here the subframe connectors. So that just connects your subframe up front, obviously, to the rear dog legs or frame rails back here. Like I said, everything's welded in and done very nicely. Again, dual exhaust the whole way back. They've got it run straight back through, no bends in it. Now it looks like they may have, I think these are kind of like a straight through tube style muffler here. Again, they do not offer a whole lot of back pressure. And then they've backed that up with a set of Flowmaster style mufflers back here. So again, probably all done for probably a couple reasons. Maybe to cut down on a little bit of the noise and to give a little bit more back pressure there for the car. And then we've got the long tube headers hanging down here to help that engine breathe. And we'll get to that motor here in a little bit. Other than that, as far as the floors go and the underside of the center of the car here, everything looks to be in really good condition. Like I said, there's no abnormal patching or anything like that. Like I said, they did put in complete pans and they did a real nice job of doing that. That's pretty much it for underneath the center of the car. Oh, I did forget transmission. Now the transmission, this was rebuilt at the same time that the motor was done, and that was just earlier this year. So 2018, transmission rebuilt and the motor was installed in this car. This is a turbo 350 transmission. Like I said though, it's all rebuilt. It's got a 2500 stall speed converter in it, and as we always mentioned before, we always like all of our cars to have that protective flywheel cover, which this one does. It's got the flywheel cover so that nothing gets into that flywheel and possibly chips a tooth off of it and causes you any problems. And then the other thing you can see hanging down here off of the motor, this is a double kick out 8-quart oil pan. And you'll, when we get to the motor, you'll realize why they decided to give a little more oil capacity to the motor. So we'll get to that here in a little bit. So other than that, let's go ahead and move up to the front now. All right, and here now finally up at the front of the car underneath it, we'll just kind of run across side to side and again, point out to you what we've got here. So again, as far as rubber goes, all BF Goodrich radial TA tires. Again, you can see the tread on these tires are in excellent condition, just like new here. These are 215/70 R15s, and again, those are mounted on polished aluminum Centerline Racing wheels up front here, 15-inch wheels. So inside of those, as I mentioned before, on the back, we've got all 4-wheel disc brakes on this car. Again, it's a solid vaned rotor on the car, all GM components. So again, replacing parts on these, not going to be an issue. You can run to any auto parts store and pick that stuff up. Now they have gone ahead and upgraded the front shocks on this car. These are new adjustable coilovers on the car. So again, the front shocks, the rear shocks, that's all new stuff here. Now as far as the actual components here, the arms, the lower control arms, the upper A arms, those are just stock factory stamped steel components. So that's what you'll see on this car. Stock front cross member. Again, that cross member is in excellent shape. It hasn't been banged up, so you know they didn't, do any abusing of the car here. Again, spindles are stock. This car has all the ball joints. The dust cover boots are all in place on all of the stuff here. Tie rods even. And you can tell that that stuff's been greased up over the years, taken care of. And those dust boots, those work, to help keep the debris out, keep the grease in, so it keeps everything, working as it should. Now I mentioned about the motor. I'll just touch briefly on it right now. It is a big block motor, and it's a 496 cubic inch stroker motor. That was put in earlier this year also. So again, it's got a little bit of horsepower to it. So that's why, transmission's been rebuilt at the same time. And that's why they put the upgraded components in the rear end too. So it will help take all of that power that you can give it. Other things I can see underneath the front here while we have it up, you've got the black front air dam here. That's in excellent shape. It's not cracked or anything. All good, solid piece there. I can see we've got an aluminum radiator upgrade here to help keep that big block cooler, along with dual electric cooling fans. They've upgraded it also to a serpentine belt system with all aluminum pulleys too. Power steering, power brakes on the car as well. So overall, just a nice good performance machine here that you can have a lot of fun with. So we're all done underneath here. We'll go ahead and get it down off the lift, take you around the outside and show you how nice this car is. All right, here we are now. We've got our 69 Camaro down off of the rack. Now we're going to go ahead and walk around it with you here and show you what we have on camera here. So again, 69 Camaro, it's SS style. Now, the reason we call it that, by looking at the fender tag, or trim tag I should say, on this car, most of the time with the Camaros, tall tale fact that you can look at on these cars to determine whether they're an SS would be that trim tag. It may have an X code on it that could tell you that. This car though in particular is a pre-X code car, so it did not have that X code. So we really can't say if it's a real SS or not. We can only just say it's SS style. So, having said that, we've got all the badging, all the decal work to make it look like an SS. Up front here, you see it's got the 454 emblems on the front fender to identify the motor. However, the motor has been reworked, and it's a 496 stroker motor. So again, they started with a 454, stroked it, bored and stroked it, so now it's a 496. And we'll go over all that stuff as we get there. But you can also see it's got that black hockey stripe on it that the SS cars would have had, and it also has all the SS emblems. You see right here, it's got the SS fender emblem. It's also got the tail panel emblem and the grille emblem on it as well, but we'll see those when we get there. This car has the bright wheel lip moldings, all four corners. It's got the bright rocker molding down along that rocker panel on both sides. Now the one thing that it does not have would be bright drip rail moldings. It does have the drip rail molding, it's just they've elected to paint them on this car. And again, I think it's probably best, especially in a car with the black vinyl top, because you do have the bright moldings that go around that vinyl top. So I think it'd be just a little bit much if you had all that stuff right together on the car. As far as panel fitment goes, looks great. We'll take a look at the door gaps here in just a minute. But as far as looking down the sides of this car, I looked at both sides, laser straight down both sides. So as far as panel alignment, elevations and so forth, that is great on this car. So again, you see that door gap on the front side, door gap on the back side, very uniform front to back. So they've got that door adjusted really, really good. You see it's also got the chrome mirror here on the driver's side, and that's it. They do not have one over on the passenger side. Tinted glass in the sides and in the back here. The front glass looks to be slightly tinted as well. Let's go ahead and open up our door real quick. We'll just take a quick look inside here. Again, it's all black vinyl interior. Got the full black door panels, bucket seats with the headrest here. You'll notice that this car has the rubber bump stops, both on the top and on the bottom. Got your little GM decal here on the inside of the door. Weather stripping on the door looks good the whole way around. There's no cracks or tears in that, so that looks to be fairly new. The felts along where your window comes up through, those look to be in good shape too. Weather stripping up along the top here, that's in great shape too. There's no rips or tears in that. That looks to be fairly new on this car as well. So again, all black interior. We'll get to all that stuff here as we get to the inside. I just wanted to quickly go over what we could see out here body-wise. So as you see, door closes effortlessly. So again, that's a good testament to how well these panels fit on this car. You've got this black vinyl top that looks to be new too. All the trim around the top is in excellent shape, polished up nicely. No dents or dings in any of that. I can see the molding or the trim around the back window. That's in good shape too. No dents or dings there. Polished up to a nice shiny finish there as well. As far as tires go, I mentioned earlier when we had this on the lift, it's got all BF Goodrich radial TA tires. All the tread is like new on it. We've got two 1570 R15s on the front And of course on the back, a little bit bigger tire, a little taller, a little wider, a 255/60 R15 back here. And of course, you can see how well conditioned that the wheels are in. These are centerline racing wheels, polished aluminum. They're in excellent shape, got nice center caps on them, chrome valve covers the whole way around. Again, nice overall look for this particular car. Now again, when we were on the underside, we mentioned it's got disc brakes, front and rear. They're solid rotors, they're vented, so that it helps with cooling and so forth. But again, a nice addition to this car with everything else that this has to offer. All right, now here at the back end of our 69 Camaro SS style car here, we can take a look at the rear bumpers, the tail panel, emblem, spoiler, trunk lid, so forth like that. Again, you've got the rear trunk spoiler here. It's a good fit, nice and tight, low to the body here, low to the trunk lid. So again, they have it fitted up real nice. Your gaps and elevations on your trunk lid here are actually fairly good, a lot better than most on these Camaros. Sometimes you see them, they get those new rubber bump stops in there. You get them up a little bit too high, but this one looks really good. You can see the back side of the vinyl top here. You can see all of the molding around the window and how well conditioned it's in. And you can see that rear glass. There's no chips or cracks in it. That's in good condition as well. Now, on your big block SS Camaros, back in the day, they did come from the factory with the blacked out tail panel. Again, being on just all painted like a flat black back here. So that's the way this one's done up, because it does have the big block motor in it. You see it's got the SS emblems right here in the center of the tail panel, and then a nicely chromed rear bumper here, polished up real well. Rear lower valance, that's in excellent shape too on the car. Like I said, trunk fitment is really good. Let's go ahead and open that trunk up and take a look inside. There's not a whole lot we can show you inside the trunk on this car, but what we do have, the underside of the trunk painted that same hugger orange color as the rest of the car. You've got the original decals, or original style decals I should say, on the inside, your jack instructions and spare tire instructions, all of that stuff. The decal saying about the limited slip differential. Again, just all factory stuff. Your hinges are in excellent shape. Obviously the spring to hold the trunk up, it is good and intact, so it's holding that up nice. Weather stripping the whole way around the trunk, that looks to be all new. There's no cracks or tears. Doesn't look like it's been broken hardly at all. So again, sealing up from the elements. Don't think that's going to be a problem on this car. Now inside the trunk, now again, from the underside, we were able to see, most of the trunk floors. They're good, solid, no patching whatsoever in here. We do have a brand new, it looks like, nice trunk mat in here to cover that floor up. And then inside, they've gone ahead, looks like they built themselves a little subwoofer enclosure back here and closed it off with this custom panel you see in here. Looks like it's got some black, I don't know if that's leather or like a vinyl upholstery there that they put in it. But again, it looks like it's got probably a couple of maybe 10-inch JL audio subwoofers in there. So again, you should have some okay sound to listen to there when you're cruising around in this car. Although it's got a pretty big motor in it, so you might have to turn the radio up a little bit louder so that you can hear that instead of the motor. But anyways, that's the trunk. That's inside. That's outside. Closes up nice too. So let's go ahead now. We'll go to the passenger side. All right, now here we are on the passenger side. So again, everything obviously same as what it was on the driver's side. So we'll just quickly work our way up through on this car. Again, as we start here at the back and look down the side, everything laser straight down the side of this car. So real nice panel fitment and alignment. All of your side marker lights and the bezels, those look to be all new. A lot of times you see a little bit of pitting and weathering on these. Not on this car though. These look to be all new, and the lenses in them are in excellent condition too. Again, I mentioned all wheel lip moldings, bright wheel lip moldings, all four corners. The BF Goodrich rubber front and rear looks to be all new tread on the car. 255/60/15s on the back. 1570 R15s up front, mounted on those 15-inch polished aluminum Centerline Racing aluminum wheels there. That black vinyl top, now you get to see it from this side here. You can see all of your bright work that works its way around that black vinyl top in excellent condition. The drip rail moldings, they're in excellent condition too. Again, it's just they've elected to have those painted the same color as the car, so they didn't get too much bright work all in one place on the car. You've got those polished, or not polished, but you've got the bright accents here on the quarter panels that the Camaros had. Those are in excellent shape. They look to be all new. And then of course that bright rocker molding that I spoke of earlier. Check out the gaps on this side, on the passenger side door. The back side gap, front side gap, pretty good on this car too. Got that black SS stripe, hockey stripe that goes all the way to the nose of the car. And again, that seems to be, I'd say that's probably decal, if I had to guess. But they probably haven't maybe cleared over. I know a lot of times they'll do that. They'll put the base coat down, they'll put the decal on, and then clear over everything. So it appears as though that may be what they've done on this particular car. Let's go ahead and open this door up too. Just as we did on the other side. Got that hugger orange paint that continues in the interior of the car on all the panels. All the full black vinyl door panels, black vinyl seats. Again, this interior looks to be all fairly new too. Again, I don't see any cracks or tears in door panels and seat covers. Even the center console, the dash pad, all of that stuff is excellent condition on this car. I mentioned the felts here on the inside of the door where your window rolls up. Those are in excellent shape. And the weather stripping here, both on the top side of the door and along that door, all in excellent shape. So let's go ahead and close that up. Again, closes nice and easy, so you know the door's adjusted really good there. As we move to the front again, we've got the SS emblems on the back side of the front fender. You've got the bright wheel moldings. I've already set the wheels and tires. Again, side marker bezels and lenses in excellent shape. There's no pitting to speak of whatsoever. The finish is excellent on those. The 454 emblems on the front of the front fender as well. All right, now we finally got the whole way around our car, so we're here at the front of our 69 Camaro SS style car. So again, you see it's just your typical 1969 front end. It doesn't have the RS nose or anything like that. So again, just your standard seal beam headlights up front here. So those are glass lenses. There's no cracks or chips in any of the headlight lenses, nor are there any cracks or chips in your parking light lens covers, which those are plastic on these cars. Your grille, nice black grille here, all 100% intact. There's no pieces broke out of this whatsoever. Very, very nice condition. SS emblems right here in the middle of the grille, and then you've got this nicely chromed and polished up front bumper here. Now on your header panel here, you've got the Camaro script emblem right up here, and then what we have here is a 2-inch steel cowl induction hood. Pretty plain, there's no emblems on it to speak of, so nice clean look. And you can see how well the fit is on this hood. If you look up the sides here, both sides are very uniform as far as your gaps go. Elevations are good with the fenders. Gap up here across the front, very nice too. So again, panel fit nice. Let's go ahead now and we'll pop the hood, and then we'll take a look at what's underneath here. So first and foremost, underside of the hood's painted like a flat black. You have your hood insulation as it should be, tacked up just the way it should be. There's no pieces hanging down or falling out of it. So again, that's all intact. And what we have sitting under the hood, I've already mentioned, but this started out as a 454. It is now a 496 stroker motor, bored and stroked to that extra cubic inch 496. So working from top down, we've got chrome air cleaner and valve covers both on this car. We've got an Edelbrock, I believe it was a 750 CFM carburetor on this car with electric choke. So again, starting up on a colder morning, not going to be a problem. It'll warm up and then the choke will kick off. You'll be in good condition there. As far as ignition system goes on this car, slightly upgraded. It does have a stock style distributor in it. Has an upgraded coil mounted on the firewall, and then over here on the inner fender, it does have a Summit multi-spark box, just kind of like an MSD box, just Summit name brand. Power brakes, power steering car. Now for the power brakes, again, they've done some work here to the motor, so it's got an upgraded cam, kind of robs it of some of the vacuum. So to make up for that, so you have lots of vacuum for your brakes to function, they do have a vacuum canister in there to store a little bit of extra there, so you have it for the brakes. Edelbrock Performer RPM aluminum intake. You've got a serpentine belt drive system on the front of this car. You've got polished aluminum alternator brackets here, also polished aluminum power steering brackets, all polished aluminum pulleys on this car too. And again, to go along with the ignition system, we've got some 8mm spark plug wires there too to help deliver that spark to the motor. We've got a nice big B-Cool aluminum radiator in here. Again, going to make cooling a lot more efficient for this big block sitting underneath the hood. And that does have a set of dual electric fans in behind it to help with that cooling process. All the heater lines are hooked up, brand new belts on this thing. And it also has a set of Pro Comp aluminum heads, and then to get those heads to breathe, we've got a nice set of long tube headers there mounted up to that dual exhaust. So I believe numbers are roughly like around the 530 mark, maybe on an average there on a dyno, 530 horse, foot-pound, I'm not exactly sure on, but I have all the information on this motor listed on one of the photos that you can look at on our website. And then all the information is in the options and in the description too for it. So if you have any other questions, you can always feel free to give us a call. But as far as that goes, we're all done with that part. We still got to fire it up for you. And then we're going to go inside the car next and take a look at that interior. We'll get you to see, exactly how nice that is inside as well as out. All right, now we're sitting inside the comfort of our '69 Camaro here. So we'll take you through everything that we see in here. And again, I don't think you're going to be disappointed here. Door panels, we'll start there. Obviously, driver's side is what you're looking at over there. All black, full door panels. Door panels look to be fairly new, if not brand new on this car. There's no marks, no tears, no rips in any of the door panels. The dash, this is a factory dash for this car. Factory dash, padded dash here. The dash itself, there's no cracks or tears in that. Those are, adept to getting, from the sun and heat. They'll sometimes crack. Well, this one's not. Whether they've replaced this or not, I'd say it's probably new. Everything else on the car is, so that should be as well. As far as gauges in the car, now it has been updated. It's got all new odometer gauges. So starting over left to right, in the dash you have a 160 mile/hour speedo. You also have an in-dash tach, again, both of which are odometer. Down here on your center console, which is your factory style center console for the automatic with the horseshoe shifter, you do have your console gauge cluster down here. Again, all odometer gauges. So you have your fuel gauge, your voltmeter, you have water temperature and oil pressure gauges down there as well. Back up to the dash area here, factory heater controls, and then you have an updated stereo in this car. Again, you saw the subwoofer box in the back. Well, up here we've got an AM/FM CD player made by Pioneer. So again, they've done a real nice fitment of that here in the dash. It looks like it belongs in here. As far as steering wheel goes, Grant GT steering wheel. It's got the black wrap on it, kind of the 4-spoke design there. But again, nice little touch. It fits the hand real nice. So again, you should be comfortable in driving this car. The seats, the upholstery on them looks to be all new seat covers. Buckets up front with a headrest. Of course, just your typical rear seat, matching upholstery in the back. All of your inner panels for the interior, those are all in excellent shape too in this car. It also contains all of the seat belts. So the front and rear seat belts Headliner is in excellent shape too. It's pulled up nice and tight. There's no rips or tears in that. That looks to be all new. Sun visors are in excellent shape too. Again, I'm going to have to say that most of this car is new or fairly new as far as all the components and interior upholstery work is concerned. So having said that, that's really about it for this car. The carpet's nice too, so again, no disappointments. As always, if you have any more questions about this car or any other car in our inventory, definitely give us a call or shoot us an email. We'll be glad to help any way we can. You can find all of that information throughout all of our photos and our video that we have, as well as you can visit us on our company website at www.hanksters.com.